Hello folks, welcome back to yet another marvelous video. The Wheel of Time is a high fantasy novel written by author Robert Jordan along with Brandon Sanderson, who co-authored the final 3 books that came out. It's a truly massive body of work spanning 14 volumes. However, due to the unfortunate death of Robert Jordan, while working on the final book, Brandon Sanderson was left to complete it. The Wheel of Time is considered to be the second highest selling fantasy novel of all time, just behind J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series. Robert Jordan crafted a massive fantasy world lore that spans eons and draws heavily from real-world theological concepts of rebirth and the cyclical nature of the universe. Despite being a fantasy novel, the premise of the series is very grounded, with flawed characters inhabiting a flawed world. The humane nature of the characters, including the villains, creates a story that the audiences can easily relate with despite its fantasy background. The world of the Wheel of Time is broken due to a cataclysmic event that set humanity back by about 3,000 years after their very savior turned against them. What we are presented with is a world that's still picking up the pieces 3,000 years later. There's a sense of helplessness mixed with hope, and this isn't the first time that this world has gone through this cycle because as the Wheel of Time turns, ages come and go, and what was once known eventually becomes lost from all memory. The Wheel of Time is not only the name of the series, but also the central plot device that drives the narrative of the series. Despite being the most important narrative device, very little is understood regarding it. Hence, in this video, we seek to uncover the mystery behind this enigmatic and supernatural phenomenon. From its nature, origins, functions, and limits, we'll be exploring everything and leaving no stone unturned. So strap on in as we dive right into this mythical world and weave our way through the pattern to understand this mysterious power that governs the world of the Wheel of Time. Let's begin.
We'll cause you to this, whether you can bear it or not. The last battle is coming.
What is the Wheel of Time? The Wheel of Time is an esoteric concept that drives the plot of the same novel. While the name itself is quite self-explanatory, the idea is far more profound and has deep-seated roots within the cosmological aspects of theology. It's a cosmic loom that's responsible for weaving the fates of individual souls through the various ages. The wheel comprises 7 spokes that support it, which is a representation of the 7 ages that this world goes through in a cycle as the Wheel of Time turns. No one knows exactly how the Wheel of Time functions. What we do know is everything that has happened, is happening, and will happen has all been predetermined by it. There are a select few individuals who are able to look into the future, and it is only they who can glimpse what the wheel has in store. These are what constitute the various prophecies among the various cultures of the world. According to ancient knowledge, the wheel is turned by the interaction between Side-En and Side-Er, which are the male and female aspects of true power. It's neither a malevolent nor benevolent concept or force. Just like the rain can nourish parched land or cause a flood, the effects of the turning of the wheel are impartial and unpredictable. It weaves what is called the Great Pattern that comprises everything that the universe is made of, like the souls of the people, the source that they channel their magic from, and the fate of the world and its denizens. The speed at which the wheel turns is unknown to all except perhaps its creator. It's a mystery whether an age lasts exactly the same amount of years each time it rolls around, or whether there are differences in its duration. Souls, however, are reborn each time without the memories of the past. However, if the Dark One's chief lieutenant, Ishmael's words are to be believed, no matter how many reincarnations he and the dragon have gone through, they're destined to fight each time. This seems to suggest that there is some continuity to things in regards to how the core fundamentals of a person's personality remain unaltered due to it being the same soul despite the memory loss. With the turning of the wheel, new heroes and villains arise to save the world or serve the Dark One, who seeks to destroy the wheel and bring an end to the natural order of things. Only the Dragon Reborn is said to wield the power to destroy the wheel, which is why the Dark One and his minions try to corrupt him in every age. By the time we're introduced to Rand al'Thor, we don't know how many times the Shadow has attempted this in the past. This further reinforces our theory of continuity that we just mentioned, as the soul of the dragon is destined, no matter what, to either ally with the Dark One or fight him. From the looks of things, the Dark One has yet to succeed in seducing a dragon into freeing him from his prison, which is why the Wheel of Time continues to turn as it's supposed to.
Dreams. Finally,
You want me to pretend to be in love with the Forsaken?
This could be our only chance.
How the wheel weaves and alters the pattern. The wheel weaves the pattern, taking into account the lives of every soul that has ever existed, be it human, Ogier, or even shadow spawn. These can spawn from a few minutes to millennia in the making, setting up events that define the nature of the age that they belong to. Every single age, therefore, has a pattern to it, making them unique not just to the one before or after, but also to its older or future iterations. This is called the pattern of the age, or age lace. While the pattern has already been woven, it's not completely set in stone, and this is where individuals called the Taverin come in. These individuals are capable of significantly affecting the pattern to various degrees and are guided by the Wheel of Time to a much greater extent than regular folks. While it might seem like the Taverin are in control of their actions that are determining the change in the pattern, it's actually quite the opposite. Those who have the fate of being a Taverin bestowed upon them are closely controlled by the Wheel of Time itself due to the power that they possess. The Wheel of Time uses these individuals to alter the pattern back to its original design whenever it begins to weave away from it. You might be familiar with the term Web of Destiny. This is formed by the changes caused by a Taverin. The Web of Destiny, by its very nature, is a turbulent time for those who have to live through it, as it is meant to bring about great change. A Taverin's effects vary in degree from influencing people to say and do things that they ordinarily wouldn't to affecting their very luck. Things that would ordinarily never happen take place due to the presence of a Taverin. The most powerful of these individuals is said to be the Dragon Reborn, Randall Thor, whose very presence in the world seems to alter the fate of individuals and entire nations. In the end, no matter how powerful someone is, they are merely an instrument for the Wheel of Time to continue turning and creating the pattern that they are ordained to follow. Where did the Wheel of Time come from? Before the first stars were born and any sentient being walked the earth, there was nothingness. And in that nothingness dwelt a great and powerful being who came to be known as the Creator. As his name suggests, it was this entity that gave birth to everything from the universe, the pattern, and the very Wheel of Time itself. As the pattern began to weave, thanks to the Wheel of Time, the Creator trapped his antithesis, called Shaitan, in a prison beyond the pattern. However, to most denizens of the Third Age, the wheel is the stuff of religious beliefs and myth, and while they do believe in it for the most part, not even the wisest amongst them really has a clue about its true nature or origins. Having set it in motion, the Creator seems to have taken a back seat regarding its function and fate. How does the Wheel of Time actually work? Having been created at the dawn of all reality, the Wheel of Time draws its power from the Saidin and Saidur and the various lives led by the people of the world. Through their interaction, whether working towards the weave or against it, the wheel procures the energy to keep spinning. The Wheel of Time produces the weaves that govern the lives of the people it's meant for, which in turn creates the energy necessary for it to spin more weaves. Over an unknown period of time, as the wheel turns, an epoch begins, followed by another, and then another, until 7 of these ages pass by and the wheel returns to the first epoch it started from. According to the author, Brandon Sanderson, in an interview, the Wheel of Time is like a tapestry, so when you look at the Third Age on it, every single Third Age looks the same. However, upon closer inspection, the threads are different, the geography is different, different kings, heroes, and villains arise, making each age vastly different from the ones previous, even though in essence they are the same. There is no escaping the Wheel of Time, and to some, it might seem hellish to be forced to suffer through the burden of life repeatedly with no end in sight and no agency over one's fate. Despite this, the Wheel of Time rolls on mercilessly, grounding civilizations, mighty empires, heroes, and villains into dust, and from their ashes rises a new age till the cycle repeats itself. No one knows how many times the wheel has turned one complete cycle, and no one will ever know. Such is the mysterious ways in which the Wheel of Time works. What is the One Power's role in the pattern? The One Power comes from the Creator himself, who made the true source to power the Wheel of Time. The One Power, as mentioned earlier, is composed of the Saiden, which is the male half of the power, and Saidur, which is the female half. Out of the two halves, only Saidur remains pure and untainted, while Saiden was corrupted by the touch of the Dark One when the dragon, Luz Therin Telamon, tried to reseal the evil entity using purely Saiden. While he did succeed in doing so, to a degree, the Evil One was able to touch Saiden and forever taint it, causing any male channeler to go eventually insane and on a murderous rampage if they continue to draw from their half of the One Power. Thus, channeling the One Power is extremely important for the wheel to turn. However, with the corruption of the male source, there's an imbalance in the natural order. The word channeling is used purposely when it comes to the use of the one power, as the user is merely weaving the power temporarily to suit their purpose and not using it directly per se. Each gender can only draw from the half that belongs to them, and as these two halves work together and against each other, they generate the necessary force to make the wheel turn and weave the fate of the ages of the world, and all the human souls that dwell within. Thanks to the one power, the weave of fate continues to be woven by the wheel of time. Channelers and how they affect the pattern. We just spoke about how channelers draw their powers from their corresponding half of the one power. The way that they do so, however, is different for males and females, as is the amount that they can draw. It is noted that male channelers seem to be able to draw and withstand more power from the one source than their female counterparts. The Sidene is said to be a raw torrent of energy that they must wrestle and bend to their will to make use of, whereas the Sidar is described as a powerful yet gentle river that a woman must submit to in order to persuade it to work for her. When a male and female channeler channel the weave together in tandem, they are infinitely stronger than numerous channelers working together of the same gender. This is because the Sidene and the Sidar seem to resonate with each other, resulting in a massive power boost. Each individual who's able to connect to the one power has their lives greatly lengthened compared to ordinary folks. This is perhaps done by the wheel to sustain the individuals that create the power necessary for it to function. Because the channelers come closer than anyone to touching the source, their actions have a deep effect on the weave. This is the reason that the dragon is always a channeler. Even amongst channelers, there are some who are more in tune with the one power than others. While some might take mere weeks to master a weave, others might take years and still struggle with it. Channelers must, however, be careful of the one power, as overusing it can have a number of adverse effects. The act of touching the one power has an almost addictive effect to it. Many who are cut off from the power can't comprehend life without it and commit suicide. If one uses too much of the one power, they can risk the power burning them up inside out. If they are more fortunate, they might just sustain major brain damage and lose their connection with the source. The one power is extremely dangerous to the uninitiated and requires extensive training to be able to be used properly. It is said 75% of individuals who, for whatever reason, don't undergo formal training regarding channeling but use the one power, whether knowingly or unknowingly, wind up dead. One must not forget that the one power is the energy that drives the very concept of reality and time forward, and even though channelers have a role to play, it doesn't come without a massive amount of risk. Who are the Creator and the Dark One, and why does it matter? The Creator, as the name suggests, is the divine entity responsible for the creation of everything within the Wheel of Time universe. It is he who created reality itself along with the Wheel of Time. From the weave to the pattern, everything is according to the will of the Creator. The light and everything good and morally sound traces its origins to him. However, we never get to see the Creator in any of the books. He's mentioned by Moraine Sedai and Swan Sanche, but we never really get to witness him in any shape or form. There are instances in the series where it is speculated that the voice of the Creator speaks to Rand, but nothing has been confirmed. The first time this happens is when a voice speaks to Rand when he learns to channel after he kills Ignor in the Eye of the World. It tells him that it would not interfere and saving humanity was completely on Rand's shoulders. The second time we believe that the Creator spoke to Rand is when he's doubting his preparations before fighting the Dark One in the final battle. The voice reassures Rand that the time is ripe for him to take on the Dark One. Outside of these instances, there is one other time when an aspect of the Creator makes an appearance for the story, although this too is mostly based on speculation. When Aviendha goes back to Ruidion for a second visit, she meets a mysterious woman called Nekomi, who seems to be a surviving member of the Gen Aiel, who were thought to be long extinct. It is widely agreed that she's not the Creator, but most likely an avatar of his. Due to this lack of intervention and involvement with the world and humanity, the Creator has no real religious beliefs based on it. There are no temples, churches, or priests dedicated to the Creator outside of the Children of the Light, which are a fanatical group of warriors dedicated to rooting out all Shadowspawn, and even they don't truly worship the Creator per se. While the Dark One is constantly meddling in the affairs of mortals, the Creator is largely absent and seems to have almost abandoned humanity to their own ends. According to Rand, the Creator was like a gardener that had created many worlds, which he likened to grapes on a vine. If the Dark One were to be freed from his prison, only that particular world would be affected and not all the various worlds across space and time. Just like a gardener would feel regretful about seeing one of his grapes die but move on, so too would the Creator. The creator, while not directly interfering with the pattern, which makes it seem like he is non-existent to the ordinary man, is very much real, but his will functions in a manner that is incomprehensible to mortals. Without his presence, not only would reality not exist, but the existing reality would itself fall into the darkness and corruption thanks to the Dark One. Balsamon, Father of Lies, Sightbinder, Lord of the Twilight, Heartsbane, Old Grim, and the Dark One are some of the many names that this most ancient of all evil is known by. Though many fear to speak his real name, for his very name invokes a sense of dread and ill feeling, his true name is Shaitan. Many confuse his greatest servant, Ishmael, to be him, but in truth, the Dark One is far more ancient and malicious than any of his chosen. He is the primeval force of evil in the Wheel of Time series. It's unclear as to how he came to be, but he is thought to be at least as old as creation itself. The creator trapped the Dark One beyond the pattern so as to keep him from influencing the mortal realms. He seeks to break free from his prison and destroy the Wheel of Time in order to remake reality in his own image. The Dark One seems to be the manifestation of evil, anarchy, chaos, and destruction. Through the various ages, he seeks to manipulate and corrupt humanity to do his bidding and set him free. He almost succeeds when, in the Age of Legend, a group of powerful channelers discover a new source of power, one from which both males and females could draw equally. They discovered that this source of power lay just beyond the pattern and began drilling towards it from a point where the pattern itself was at its thinnest. Little did they know that the source of this new power was none other than the Dark One himself, and all they had managed to do was weaken his prison. He's ultimately thwarted temporarily by the combined efforts of Luz Theron Telamon and 113 other male channelers, but at a great price, damning themselves and all future male channelers to madness. The Dark One is said to be powerful beyond the scope of human comprehension. He's said to be beyond the laws of space and time, as he is trapped outside of the pattern. Though he can exert a degree of influence on the weave, there's no real scope or measure to his powers. He's said to be vaster than the entire universe and immeasurably powerful, yet empty. By his very nature of being the embodiment and progenitor of evil, he's incapable of doing anything outside of his nature, despite being so vastly powerful. The Dark One seems to have the ability to take souls and cast them into new bodies as long as they're not burned from the pattern. This is, however, only reserved for those he deems worthy and have pledged their loyalty to him. While the Dark One can interfere with the weave all he wants, he cannot truly bend to his will or break it. For this, he needs the assistance of humans, and he relies heavily on the human capacity for being evil. Unfortunately for the Dark One, unlike himself, humanity is capable of both good and evil, meaning he's unable to completely corrupt everyone, and there are always going to be those who resist him. While not being able to completely enter the pattern, the Dark One is able to chip away at it and also alter reality to the extent where the pattern is at its weakest. As his prison weakened over time, the Dark One's ability to manipulate the pattern began to grow as well. This is seen from the increased number of chaotic and destructive events occurring over time with increased frequency and the moral degradation of society as witnessed during the later stages of the Age of Legends. The Dark One can be killed by putting him into the pattern because within it, he has to adhere to the concept of time fully, and we know that in time, everything that has a beginning must also have an end. Rand, however, after seeing the role of the Dark One in the grander cosmic scheme, decides to imprison him once more instead of killing him. His master plan in every age seems to be an attempt to corrupt the dragon into serving the shadow, but so far, he's met with nothing but failure. One cannot help but think that this cosmic tug of war between good and evil is all a part of the creator's plan, and everything has its origins within his will and only serves to turn the Wheel of Time. Do lives really recycle in the Wheel of Time? The cycle of rebirth and reincarnation is very much a reality within the Wheel of Time. As the wheel turns, souls are reincarnated within new bodies but with no memories of their past lives. The people, however, believe there to be some sort of continuity to their past lives regarding the purpose they serve while alive. For some, this serves as a comforting thing, knowing that they will have an infinite number of chances to be with a loved one or to finish some unfinished task, knowing that they will all be reincarnated eventually. Not all share in this optimism, as for some, this is nothing short of a prison where one is robbed of the agency of choice and has to endure lifetime after lifetime of preordained inescapable fates. While it is unclear how often a soul reincarnates within an age or the turning of the wheel, we do know for sure that the soul of the dragon can only reincarnate once every age. The wheel also reincarnates the souls of heroes into the world as and when there's a need for them to serve their purpose. Outside of that, the heroes reside within the dream world of Teleran Rioid, where they await their rebirth or a summon from the Horn of Valir. While the aforementioned is the natural course of rebirth and reincarnation, there is another way that one can be reborn into the world. This is, however, done by infernal means through the power of the Dark One, who's able to snatch any soul from the pattern and cast them into new bodies. The Dark One, however, only uses this ability on the most accomplished of his chosen servants, and even then, if they were to die twice, he doesn't resurrect them again for a third time. Whether this restriction is in place because there's a limit to the number of times the Dark One can interfere with the pattern, or he simply chooses to do so on principle, isn't known. The unique thing about being resurrected by the Dark One is that the person returns with all of their memories and abilities intact. However, the Dark One can change the gender of the person he's reincarnating, as seen when he reincarnates Balthamel as a woman. The only confirmed limitation to the Dark One's reincarnation abilities is that he cannot reincarnate a soul that has been burned by balefire, as it burns the individual soul from the pattern itself. The only other person who seems to remember his past life despite not being reincarnated by the Dark One is Matt Cawthon. After his visit with the Finns, where using one of his wishes, he has the holes in his memories filled, he's flooded with memories of individuals who he's never met before and who have existed before his time. It's largely speculated that these are the memories of his past lives. If this were to be true, it would make Matt an anomaly in the pattern as the only being who remembers his past life, albeit not as clearly as someone resurrected by the Dark One. Can the Wheel of Time be broken forever? The fate of the Wheel of Time, along with the rest of creation, rests upon the result of the last battle, or Tarmangeddon, in the Old Tongue. According to a series of ancient prophecies called the Kariathon Cycle, the dragon would be reborn once again and unite the forces of light in order to fight against the Dark One and his army in a final battle to end all battles. This battle is fought by Randall Thor, who emerges victorious and re-imprisons the Dark One beyond the pattern once more. It's widely believed that if the dragon of this age is corrupted by the power of the Dark One and decides to side with him during Tarmangeddon, the world as we know it will fall. The Dark One needs the power of the dragon to free him from his eternal prison, which will allow him to destroy the Wheel of Time, ending the cycle of ages. This will then be followed by him recreating all of creation in his own image. So yes, technically the Wheel of Time can be broken, but in practice, it's impossible for that to happen because the dragon has never yielded to the Dark One's influence ever. Let's believe for 1 second that the Dark One is able to seduce the dragon, and together they break the wheel. We forget that the creator still exists, and he could very well just remake the wheel or mend it and reset everything back to the status quo. What real-world ideas inspired the Wheel of Time? Brandon Sanderson, while speaking at the end of the Fires of Heaven audiobook, had this to say about the real-world inspirations for the Wheel of Time. It's from Hindu mythology that time is a wheel, and that's a great gift because if time is circular, if everything repeats in cycles, then change is impossible. No matter what you want to do, it's always going to come back to what is here. But I wanted the circularity because I wanted to go into the changes by distance, so the myths and legends and a few of the stories that these people tell, well, some of them are based on our myths and legends. So they are the source of our myths and legends, and we are the source of theirs. There are elements that come out of religious books and elements that come out of mythology. In fact, it's not just Hindu mythology that he draws from, he also takes ideas from early Buddhist and Jain beliefs as well. The concept of samsara especially talks about the cyclical nature of a human soul, where an individual is fated to be born again and again until they earn enough good karma to escape this cycle and attain nirvana or moksha, finally breaking free from the cycle. This, of course, is a simplification of a grand theological belief in order to make it easier to understand. In Buddhism, a human life is viewed as one with endless suffering, but the silver lining of being born into such a life is the ability to garner good karma in order to transcend one's humanity and attain an elevated level of consciousness. In Hinduism, when one attains moksha, they are freed from the cycle of endless rebirth, and finally, the soul rests with the Supreme Being. In Hinduism, the transmigration of souls doesn't always happen from one human body to another. The human form is attained only by those with the highest karmic value, as it is through the human form that a soul is able to fully appreciate the greatness of the creators and perform the necessary deeds to attain moksha. The Wheel of Time's concept of rebirth, as you can see, draws heavily from these concepts while adding its own spin on things. Regarding the cycling of ages, according to Hinduism, we are currently in the Kali Yuga, the final age before the wheel turns and the world is reset to the first age of truth, the Satya Yuga. Just like Brandon Jordan states, there's a clear influence from Hinduism regarding how time moves in a cycle and is divided into ages in the Wheel of Time. In The Wheel of Time, we're told about how stories become legends and legends become myths, which is quite similar to how it works in the real world. The key difference between these ancient religious philosophies and Brandon Jordan's work is the fact that in the real world, the souls caught in this cycle seek to escape it. Every work of fiction that ever was is inspired by reality to a certain degree, and The Wheel of Time is certainly no exception. Marvelous verdict! Well, on the surface, The Wheel of Time seems to be yet another fantasy series that deals with myth and legend that it borrows from the real world and other works of fantasy. As we read on, we realize there's a real depth to it that sets it apart and above most of its contemporaries. While the intricate lore and personalities that Brandon Jordan has created are something to marvel at, the sheer scope of his legendarium is arguably unmatched. How events from thousands of years ago have a trickling effect on the events of the current time when the story is set is simply done marvelously. There's nothing forced or contrived about it. It's truly as if the wheel of time has turned, leading to the outcome of things that are presented before the audience. It completely draws the audience in without them even realizing it. With the third season of the series being currently aired on Amazon, the hype for The Wheel of Time is at an all-time high, and deservedly so. Though we might have been robbed of the stellar talent of Robert Jordan after he unfortunately passed away, his legacy endures through this epic fantasy series. We hope that we were able to not just increase your knowledge regarding this topic of our video today, but also pique your interest in this amazing fantasy series. If you like this video, be sure to check out our channel. We cover all your favorite TV shows, movies, and anime, so there's always something for everyone. Thanks for watching this video right to the end. We couldn't have done this without your support. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. For now, though, we have to say goodbye. Until next time, stay safe and stay marvelous.